Hey everyone, welcome to another Dorkside Cookies episode. And today I'm going to be giving some tips and advice on how to win with Opener of the Way. Alright, let's get into it. So, you guys know my favorite faction is Opener of the Way. So I've been waiting for this video, and here it is. So, I really love Opener of the Way, mostly because my favorite being from the Lovecraftian mythos is Yog-Sothoth. I like the Dunwich Horror. You guys got to read the book. If you haven't read the Dunwich Horror and you like any of the Lovecraftian books, got to read it. But turns out this is actually a great faction. So sometimes, buddy of mine loves Cthulhu, other buddy loves Black Goat. I don't know why. That's fine. Get into it. Even if you lose repeatedly, keep playing it because you love the faction. Opener of the Way, great faction. But they are a little bit weird. They are a little bit different. And actually this video was pretty tough, just formulating into words how you have to play as Opener of the Way. And this is like I was realizing, this is it. I view Opener of the Way like an ambush predator. You're there, you're skulking in the shadows, you know all, you see all. Opener of the Way, you can't win by Eldritch Signs. That's not your thing. Sorry. You're going to get just a couple Eldritch Signs the entire game. That's probably, no more than 4 or 5, I would say. That means you've got to play smarter. And a big part of that is going to be in the very beginning. As an ambush predator, you've got to choose your time and place to strike. And the first choice is even before the game starts. After everyone sets up, you get to choose where you start. Now, you have 2 options here. One option is if you're playing a slow game, you can choose to be far away from everybody. And North America is a good point. So get over there in Nikai, boom. Don't get monsters for free, but you get a bunch of cultists. There you go. And there you go. So you are in North America and you are far from people. My group doesn't tolerate that. My group's going to start getting things going right away. So the other way to do it is to start right next to someone. Now, in this scenario, I have Cthulhu set up and I have Black Goat set up. So there's not a lot of options. You could choose to be in the middle of them. That's an option. Either I'm not that brave or I'm not that foolish. I haven't decided which yet. Probably depends on who wins. What I would say is choose a target and just get on them. So like South America or Australia, whichever you like. Spawn there next to Cthulhu, or alternatively, spawn in Asia. I would recommend starting on a landmass because in the future, Cthulhu is going to get his submerge power. So you just kind of make things a little bit harder for him if you keep your gates on land. Okay, so you spawn next to Cthulhu, and what's going to happen? Well, the unique ability of Opener of the Way is the Beyond one. For an action cost of 1, you can select one of your units with a cost of 3+ in an area with a gate, but lacking any enemy Great Old One. Move that unit, the gate, and any controlling unit to any area of the map lacking a gate. So, without any spellbooks, and of course, without spellbooks, your units generally have no abilities per se. You actually have a pretty powerful ability that you're going to be using the entire game. I think that's pretty cool. Like you look at Great Cthulhu, and once Cthulhu has awakened, he only costs 4 power each time. You get 1 Elder Sign. He's going to have a bunch of Elder Signs by the end of the game, and he is going to get to use that power. You're going to threaten people with the Beyond one the entire game. You're right here. Cthulhu sees that. Next thing you know, you've summoned a abomination, or you've summoned a spawn of Yog-Sothoth. I love these sculpts, guys. I particularly like the spawn of Yog-Sothoth. All right, so you spawn. What's he thinking? He's thinking you're about to steal his gate. And if he doesn't do anything to stop it, he's probably right. Right? He has 2 choices. He can spawn something and attack you, or he lets you come in. And if he lets you come in and he doesn't spend the power to attack you, then you'll just spend the power to take the whole thing. 1 less gate in the ocean. It blocks Cthulhu from summoning Cthulhu, period. He has to summon another gate before he can ever summon Cthulhu. He has to make a choice. Is he going to retaliate against you, knowing that you might just come back and steal another gate? Who knows? It's all depending on how the game's going to play. But I personally, it's very satisfying. And the last time I played Opener of the Way, I stole Cthulhu's gate. It was great. I love it. All right. So that's an option. Again, that's with no spellbooks. Now, the difficulty that Opener of the Way has, I think their spellbooks are hard to get out compared to a lot of other factions. They're much more dictated by what other people do. Right? When you play Yellow Sign, you feel 100% in control. Because you just feel like, okay, I'm looking at the map, I'm going to go places, I'm going to do things. Opener of the Way, 8 gates on the map. I mean, I guess you can be the one to keep spawning gates, but that's not very realistic. So really, you're waiting. Yeah, Opener of the Way has to sort of wait for things to happen. There's a tempo to the game, and if the game's tempo is slow, if people are not summoning gates as fast as they could be, then they're slowing you down. And that's okay, because if the game's going slower, then obviously you get to be more tactical as well, but it's still a reality. So the 2 things that you really have under your control in the beginning is having units in at least 2 areas containing enemy-controlled gates, right? Obviously, you can just move people over. And the good thing about that is if you summon an abomination and you walk him into Cthulhu's territory because you were right there, one of 2 things is going to happen. He's going to ignore you, or, this is too late, by the way, guys. This is way too late, right? You summon a Shoggoth, and then, bloop, you're gone. So if you're a Cthulhu player, you can't let that happen. The moment that Opener of the Way summons the monster, the other factions have to respond. They're forced to. Otherwise, it's too late. So you summon a monster, they summon a monster. You move in, they have to attack, or you're taking the gate. So let's say they attack. Let's say they kill you. If they kill you, they get a spell. You get a spellbook at that point. So with your first spellbook, I recommend either They Break Through or the Million Favored Ones. Now, They Break Through. Now, you need both of these as soon as possible. These 2, I believe, define your day-to-day, your round-to-round strategy for Opener of the Way. They Break Through. You can summon monsters at enemy-controlled and abandoned gates. You do not need to have any units present in the battle. The Million Favored Ones. Any units present in the area. The Million Favored Ones. After pains and kills are resolved, replace any or all surviving acolytes with mutants, mutants with abominations, and abominations with spawns of Yog-Sothoth. Spawns of Yog-Sothoth you can replace with as many mutants in your pool. So you get one of these two, and generally I like They Break Through. And the reason why I like They Break Through is because so lost a unit, boom, They Break Through. So once you get They Break Through, you do something like, and you see that your enemies are running low on power, boom, boom, and now you get your other one. It's strong. I think it's strong. Obviously, you're not likely to go there because it's more likely to be defended, but people like gates in the beginning, you can definitely head out to their weakly defined areas. Now, of course, they know you can steal the gate at that point. They have to choose, are they going to summon a monster? They know it's too late. Well, no, a mutant can't summon a monster. So this is purely for spellbooks. Now, after you get those two spellbooks, now your real strategies start, okay? You have a lot of cool options as Opener the Way at this point. You can do something like summon your spawn of Yog-Sothoth out with everybody else's units, right? Now, this is rarely used, I think, but you can initiate combat with units that have 0 combat dice. It's just they can't initiate combat against you. So you could summon directly, bam, 4 power, spawn of Yog-Sothoth. Then you attack. You kill, 3 combat dice. Let's say you kill and you pain 2 cultists. Okay, you didn't capture them, you killed them. So, for what it's worth. Then you split your spawn of Yog-Sothoth into all of your mutants. All of them. However many mutants you have, that's how many comes out. So 4 mutants. Mutants hiding somewhere. All right. From 4 mutants, you do another combat. Now, of course, this is never going to happen in a vacuum, but you're forcing people to respond. They left something vulnerable out there. You turn your 4 into 1 mutant and 3 abominations. And of course, if your enemy was foolish enough to let you do it again, you're going to get these 2 upgraded. And now there you go. That was pretty cheap to get all these things out. And that's why Opener the Way costs a little bit more than everybody else. Effectively 1 more than everybody else. Of course, once you have all these cheap spawns of Yog-Sothoth wandering around, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to do something like, well, first of all, steal a unit, move it around somewhere, the gate. Upgrade your spawn for Yog-Sothoth. Now, Yog-Sothoth, he is weaker than other great old ones. Generally, he's only equivalent to 2 combat dice for every enemy faction ancient one on the board, which means Shub-Niggurath, he's only going to be worth 2 combat dice in this scenario. It's pretty weak. On the other hand, he is giving you power every turn because he's a portal. So, he's a gate. So he counts as a gate for every possible reason. Now, of course, with They Break Through, you can summon monsters at other people's gates, but you do have this other option now. Basically, you can summon monsters at your gates, you can summon monsters at uncontrolled gates, you can summon monsters at enemy-controlled gates, and with Yog-Sothoth wandering around, you can summon monsters directly from Yog-Sothoth. So now you can summon monsters where there isn't a normal gate at all. I think that's a huge strategy. Now let's look at some of the other things. Let's say that you're in a battle with the evil black goat. Evil. Now in this type of scenario, there's a lot of combat dice. Black goat probably has an advantage because things. And at the end of it all, let's say that you get 2 kills and a bunch of pains. So she's just like, well, I'm just going to retreat, wherever. Let's get that out of there. She retreats to the Indian Ocean. Meanwhile, maybe all your units died. It happens. Maybe one of them survives. So you save your spawn. So in that scenario, of course, people always save their Great Old One. But Dread Curse of Azathoth. 2 power. Select an area and roll 1 battle die per abomination and spawn of Yog-Sothoth in play. It's 2 dice. It's not a lot of dice, but it gives you 2 things. One, because as like an ambush predator, you wait till somebody's alone. Don't attack them when they have everybody, right? In this type of scenario, you roll 2 dice, you get a kill, they're going to kill 1, and then you're like, well, I'm going to do a pain, and they're like, okay, well, this one's pained, and the pain is going to go back home, or whatever, right? It's not... Of course, with Dread Curse of Azathoth, you get to choose where they go with pain. So if it made sense to go here, you would do that. But, you can move them right in, because you want to upgrade everything, something like that. But if you do Dread Curse of Azathoth on a lonely Great Old One, fire from the sky, good chance of being dead. And if they're not dead, you're controlling them. You're going to force them to go where you want them to be. Very powerful. It costs 2. It's a little pricey. Not as pricey as some things. More expensive than some. It's another way to just snipe and just force people to constantly be worried. If I leave my gate unsecure, Opener of the Way will take it from me. If I move a powerful creature by itself, Opener of the Way will take it from me. That's what you want people to think. You kind of want to threaten more than execute. It's the key. If you can get everybody afraid, they will do less things in their own favor. They'll play more defensively. Meanwhile, you're popping all over the map, right? Anywhere on the map you can basically go, because there's going to be gates everywhere. All right. Channel power. So you have less dice than other factions. You just do. You have an ancient one that if you're fighting 3 people, Crawling Chaos, Black Goat, and you're playing Cthulhu, at full swing, your ancient one's only going to be 6 combat dice. However, you do have a small ability to swing things back in your favor. Channel power. You can pay 1 power to reroll all dice which were not kills or pains. The best way to think of it is think of it as if you have about half again as many dice as you really do. So if you have 6 dice, number 1, the average on 6 dice is 1 kill and 2 pains. With this, you get to act like you have 9 dice. 9 dice, you are much more likely to have at least 1 kill, greater than 1 in 6 odds. But also, because you're rolling it twice, you could roll 6 dice, all blanks, and then you get to roll all 6 dice again. So Channel power, again, it's expensive, and Yog-Sothoth is expensive. Yog-Sothoth, at least she's giving you 2 power each round. So more expensive faction, but you have more power innately than other factions. So definitely use channel power only when it matters, because it costs you power. Generally use it with more dice, not less. If you have 3 combat dice, it's probably not worth rolling again, because 3 combat dice doesn't give you good odds of really doing anything. It's a 1 in 3 chance that you're going to get a pain. I don't like it. I don't recommend doing that. All right. Now we've come to the 2 dragon tiles. The Dragon Ascending Spellbook and the Dragon Descending Spellbook. All right. These are once only each. And as once only each tiles, spellbooks, you have to really make sure that you use them at the right time for maximum effect. On the other hand, you want to do them not too late in the game, or the long tail of the consequences of whatever you did will kind of get watered. Like you won't have the full effect. Right? You do it last turn of the game, and you won't necessarily get as much value out of it as you would with, at the height of the game. All right, Dragon Ascending. Once during the game, set your power to be equal to the current power of one chosen enemy faction. Flip the spellbook face down after used to indicate you cannot use it again. Okay, set your power to the current power of one chosen enemy faction. So this is when I like to use it. Okay, you are going to be the next first player. Number 1, first player. It's my preference. Number 2, you have a spawn out, so you're ready to summon Yog-Sothoth. Then what I'm going to do in that scenario is 1, I'm going to try to do a Ritual of Annihilation. Either I'm going to do it just because, and I'm going to make it more expensive for everybody else, or number 2, I actually have a lot of gates. 4 gates, 5 gates. That's good. 4 or 5 gates. Then I will do Dragon Ascending, Ritual of Annihilation. I'm going to do Ritual of Annihilation because I'm going to do Dragon Ascending. I will summon Yog-Sothoth. And then I'm probably starting the round, or I'm ending that first action with 2 power, 0 power, 3 power, something like that. Boom, Dragon Ascending. And now I'm going to have power equal to that crazy Chocho faction or something where they have a ton of power. That's what I want to do. Reset it, turn 1. I got my Ancient One out, and I'm still good. I still have full power, effectively. That's how I like to play it. Now, if I can combine it, same turn, with Dragon Descending, once during the game when you perform a Ritual of Annihilation, you receive twice the normal amount of Doom points. Great. Here's the thing. Yog-Sothoth he counts as a gate for every purpose. You have to keep that in mind. He does count as a gate, which means for Rituals of Annihilation, you get an extra Doom point just for having Yog-Sothoth out during Rituals of Annihilation. So, if you do them both at the same time, then you're going to have full power. You're going to have your Ancient One out. But you're not necessarily going to get as much bang for your buck out of Dragon Descending. Because Dragon Descending, if you can do it when you have like 5 gates, which you would if you had had 4 gates, and then you did Ritual of Annihilation, and now you have Yog-Sothoth, then now you effectively count as 5. Plus, because you have a Great Old One out, you get an Elder Sign. So, boom, Dragon Descending. There you go. You got double the number points. It's like winning 2 rounds in a row. I think it's a very powerful option. The negative is that people will turn on you. You see somebody go up 10 points on the Doom track, they're not going to like it. That can be a little unfair, right? They see it, they all gang up on you. I don't know about your games, but in my games, the person furthest ahead is very unlikely to ever win. Doesn't matter what game it is. If it's a combat game, everybody else will stomp on you. So the worry is that you have to be able to back up your threat. If you're going to get 10 Doom points in a single turn, you need to be able to survive the next couple turns until people realize you can't do it again. That was it. There's no more like massive punches. At that point, the only thing you really got going for you is Dread Curse of Azathoth, and you have the Million Favored Ones, where you can get yourself some cheap kind of defensive units. Don't use the Million Favored Ones offensively very often. I know in my example, I was like, boom, I bring in a spawn, and then now I've got all my mutants, and then for my mutants, it really works better if you do it defensively than you do if you just charge in, because your units cost more. So other than that first book, and personally, I will risk a 3-cost abomination to get my first spellbook, because Yog-Sothoth, every faction needs their first couple spellbooks, right? Everybody has those spellbooks that you need to have, or you're not really playing like that faction yet. Yog-Sothoth is really crippled, because if everybody else slows down, they're not getting gates out as fast or whatever, but kind of partially because you're messing with them, it may hurt you, or at least make you take longer. Meanwhile, they may be getting more spellbooks because they're not restricted to gates in order to get spellbooks. So with that are just a quick guide on how to play Opener the Way better. I wish I could say that you would just win. I'm not putting the five key strategies to winning with Opener the Way. I hope this gave you some hope. It's a tough faction. It's worth, like, what you put into playing it better, you will get out of this faction. It's a great faction. It's my favorite faction. I have a lot of favorite factions, but my favorite faction, and I think it's worth it. I love this. I love this faction a lot. So with that, I would love to get some feedback. Number one, thanks guys for telling me about some of the balance changes. I did not know on my Cthulhu video that there were some balance changes that made Cthulhu even better. So that's cool. I looked before this video just to make sure there weren't balance changes. The only balance change was something related to not neutral Great Old Ones for Yog-Sothoth. It has to be faction Great Old Ones, which is already printed on the board. So, thanks guys for all your comments on the other videos. Definitely please help me out. Post down below, like, what is either the biggest thing you could give other Opener the Way players to help them, or what are ways to thwart them? Obviously, their units cost a lot. The book says, hey, if you want to stop these guys, punish, eat away at their power by killing their units, because their things cost more, so it's harder for them to keep recovering. Just don't post down below, guys. Let us know. And until next time.